So hey world, welcome to my channel and welcome to The Ones Who Live episode 4, what we review. So let's start. Obviously, we're gonna start off with the biggest thing, they jump out of a helicopter. But okay, I don't want to be picky, but they did jump out of the helicopter into water and they didn't know where they were. And then the second thing we see is they're entering a house. You know how confused I was? It was pouring rain. There was lightning. They weren't even that wet. And they fell on water. So they fell on water. It was raining, lightning, and they were not even that wet. Especially Michonne. Rick was a little, but Then they come into this house and I'm like, okay, is this a house, an apartment? What is this? Because it was night, you couldn't see. You could just see the rain, and I'm like, okay. So there was a house near a beach. Okay. But then when the rain passed and it was sunny, and they saw the helicopter on the other building, they were in the building, and I'm like, what? So there's two buildings. They're in one building, and the helicopter fell into the other building. But I was so confused because, like, how did they fell into the water? And they went to that city, and it just entered that building and just went to a random high apartment. Like, you have the low apartments. I mean, I guess because of the zombies, but they just go up. Okay, forgetting that. Okay, they saw the helicopter. They were safe. They could escape because Michonne said they're gonna think we're dead. We can escape, and I was like, maybe not, because Jadis is gonna make sure. Because the first thing that came to my mind was like, yeah, Jadis is gonna come back. She's going to the helicopter. She's gonna see if there's any bodies. And their bodies are obviously not there, so she's gonna know they're missing. But then Rick said, no, we can't go back, blah, 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 because he was still afraid. And I'm like, yeah, in that particular instant, I agreed with him, because Jadis could very well come back and go after them, or even go to Alexandria, see if they're still alive. But fuck it, let's just get out. I was with Michonne the whole way. We gotta go. I understood his fear, but I'm with Michonne. We gotta go. Then, what was I gonna say? Oh, because of the bodies. But I gotta say one thing first. What? It was so weird also that when Michonne was arguing, she said children. Go back to your children. And Rick noticed and he said children. And I'm like, okay, she said children, but is Rick gonna know? Because technically he does have Carl, so she could have been talking about Judith and Carl, because he said children. She said something about your children. She didn't. I don't think she specifically said, like, like in the present. She just said children. So how did he realize? And then he said, oh, children. And then she told him. And then he was like, oh, okay, give me the radio. And I was like, bitch, how do you not react to that? What? That was crazy. But I guess later in the episode, we realized why he didn't react to. So, yeah. But, next. Let me see, because I got my notes. I can't be distracted, because otherwise I'm going to be all over the place. We don't want that. Episode 4. Oh, this is the episode Denaya wrote. If she doesn't get an award for acting, she should get one for writing. Because that was a masterpiece of an episode. That's my favorite episode. I would say even on television ever. It's one of my favorites on television ever. Ever. That's saying a lot, because I've watched a lot of shows. That's saying a fucking lot. Okay. So, what she kept saying, and I didn't understand, is that she kept saying that he was lying. And I didn't quite understand what she meant. Because she kept saying that he was lying, he was hiding something, he was not telling her. And obviously, we saw what happened to Rick. So I was like, what is he lying about? What does she think he's lying about? I'm confused. Because we know he's not like hiding anything. So what is he lying about? And so I didn't understand that until the end. I'm basically, everything I say, I'm like, oh, until the end. Okay, so then the other helicopter appeared. Wait, oh no, before. Okay, she got out. Yeah. Okay. So he told her to go away. She actually goes, but obviously she stood in the hallway waiting for him. He didn't go. But then when she started walking, he exited and he started running towards her. And it's when we see the other helicopter coming, and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do? Is the other helicopter Jadis? Is there a team? Are they gonna do something? No. They get there, they blow up the helicopter, and I'm like, what? What? Why would they blow it? They didn't even like saw if there was anyone alive. Nothing. They just blow it up. And I was so confused. But I was not that confused about that part. Because when they showed the helicopter and they said that they were free to go, I did think as the helicopter as evidence, but I wasn't really sure because the apartments were still standing, you know. So they have running water, electricity, you know, all that stuff on those apartments, but nobody was living there. Because I think where they were is that third city that fell. I think the one that we saw in episode 1. That there were 3 cities, so 3 circles, and that third city was the one that fell. But then what got me confused when Rick said that they blow up the helicopter because it was evidence, so no one could see that the CRM exists. Which, first of all, doesn't make sense because if you see a helicopter, like, what the fuck? Like, that helicopter went to blow up the other one. So if there was someone nearby, they would have seen the other one flying. You know, there would still know they exist. It's so weird. And even though they blow it up, there's still bits and pieces that someone could find. So even that wouldn't like really destroy the evidence, I guess. But pretending it did. The 2 buildings were still standing. The city was still standing. If Rick and Michonne didn't went there, and if it was some random person, they just go into that apartment, they have water, electricity, and all that stuff. And it's like, so the helicopter is evidence, but the buildings are not. They were just wasting those resources on that building because they had electricity and water, like I said. And so those resources are being spent. I mean, nobody's living there. But like the robots was still working, so that takes up energy. So that was still taking energy. So those resources are being wasted on 2 buildings that nobody's living in. And I'm saying 2 buildings because it's the buildings they show. I don't know if the rest of the city also had electricity and all that stuff. But continuing, when they blow it up, obviously the building kind of fell and there were debris. Okay. But what I didn't understand next was how the building they were on was also falling off. I was so confused. Because, okay, the buildings were next to each other. They blow up this one. And it was on the top part of the building. So, how did the other building collapse entirely if they blow the top of the building? First. Second, how did the second building started to fall off? It's not like the other building fell on top of the other one. It was just falling because it was falling. They didn't even blow it up like twice. They just blew it up once and went away. I was so fucking confused. But anyway, continuing, because there was a lot of confusion on this episode because of all that stuff, you know. But okay. Next, what do we got next? Of course. I already did that. Okay. Then they're going up the building. Okay. And Michonne gets stuck. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking like. That also made me confused because the shot it kind of didn't make sense because that the chandelier fell, but it's like, why was there a chandelier on the stairs? Because they were going up the stairs. Why was there a chandelier on the stairs? And why was it heavy? And it supposedly it fell on Rick, but then when they showed them again, it was on Michonne and Rick was on the other side. I was so confused. But anyway, she was stuck, and that scene, I just wanted to point one stuff out. One stuff out. Am I? What the fuck? One thing out. One stuff. Anyway. Which was that Michonne kept saying that oh my god, you should go, and I'm like, Michonne, shut up, because she would never say that. I knew she was onto something, and then he was like, oh, I would never do that. I would never leave you, and she was like, oh, that's all I needed to hear. Period. I love that. That was like so simple, but I'm like, yeah, period. She just needed that reassurance, and that was so cute. Anyway. Going up the building again, there was that dead doctor. I guess it was a doctor. I don't know. But that was a suicide note or whatever that was. Because, like, if everyone is dead and that doctor, before he died, wrote that letter, nobody's going to read that letter because everyone else is dead. So why did he wrote that letter? For nothing? And then the building collapsed, so it really was for nothing. Anyway. Where was I? Going up the building. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, but I'll do it next. Okay. So then they go up the building. They're going to they went into the apartment again, and I'm like, they are crazy. The building is collapsing. The other building already collapsed, and they're going to the same apartment that's high up again. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where would they go again? But obviously, for the plot, that is the one thing I understand. For the plot, they went back to talk, obviously. And then that's where they had sex. And in the beginning of the episode, Rick saw Michonne's scar. And I didn't remember what that scar was from. But then she told us it was from her friend from college that she went into Alexandria. I think this was season 9. It was after Rick disappeared. She was 7 months pregnant, and she stole Judith and a bunch of other kids, and then that girl gave her and Daryl the scar. But I don't remember because it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was season 9, so it really was a long time ago. It was literal years in real life. So yeah, but so I'm glad that she told the story, so I could know what she was talking about. You know, okay, then they had sex, and he had the panic attack during sex, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, him crying was the worst, because, like, he's one of the strongest characters ever, you know? He was so fucking broken. So broken. Like, it was so crazy. And then he just kept going back to, I could change the CRM, I could do this, I could do that. If I can just go in and change the CRM. And Michonne did say, like, not at the cost of sacrificing yourself. And sacrificing yourself and, like, not being with your family. Because, like, it wasn't his job to change the CRM. If Donald or whatever he was called, if he wanted to change the CRM, okay, that's on him. But, like, it's not Rick's job. You know, and he just kept going back to that. And that's when Michonne said, we are not going to get out of here until you say until you stop lying, basically, until he stops going back to that and he explains what he lost, I guess. And so he did say he lost Carl, and I'm like, how do you lose Carl? He's dead. Okay, that's my first thought. Okay, obviously. How do you lose Carl if he's dead? How do they took Carl? They kill Carl, and then I remembered, oh, he died from a bite, so they didn't kill Carl. And I'm like, because I don't know, they could have put that in. I don't know. But yeah, and then he explained the dream. So he used to dream of Carl because we didn't see that. We saw the dreams of Michonne, but we didn't see Carl. So I like that they saved that little bit to hear, and so that he dreamt first of Carl and then Michonne. But there was no Judith, which was weird. But I mean, I guess it was because she was alive. So yeah, and he because he doesn't know the how Judith looks now. He only knows the baby Judith, the blonde baby that was on season 9. He doesn't even know how the actress that that's true. He doesn't even know the actress that plays her now. It's so weird. Wow. So yeah, he couldn't dream of her. So it makes sense that it was Carl. And then we see the flashbacks of him and Carl, and I was like, no, I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying, And then he said he lost him, and then we see the flashback again, and then he disappears, and I'm like, no, oh my god. And then he said he dreamed of Michonne, and then he took that away, which was on the first episode when he burned all the stuff, was when he basically stopped dreaming of her and Carl, and he had basically nothing, He was basically dead inside. And that was one of the best lines I ever saw on TV. That he said she was the love of his life, and without her, he would die. And so if he was going to keep going, he had to figure it out a way to keep living dead. So that's why he kept going back to the CRM and I have to change stuff and because he was basically dead inside. Which then is another layer because the show, it was The Walking Dead. So he was basically a zombie. Wow. Oh my god, I'm just realizing that now. He was basically a zombie because he was dead inside but still living. The Walking Dead. Oh my god, that's so smart. Wow. True. And then I was so sad when he said that, like, that she couldn't just come up here and bring him back. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's hard because it's like, in a way, he did die, and it's really hard for her to bring him back. But then eventually she did. And that was so, oh my god, that whole part and him crying. And the extent that he went, it wasn't just like normal crying. Like, it was literally a breakdown. The acting, another, for him and a word too. Like, both of them so fucking talented. Jesus. And then together, a work of art. A work of fucking art. I need to go rewatch the episode, actually. I gotta go rewatch it. So good. So good. But yeah, then she in a way, she kind of brought him back. I don't think it was still fully him. I mean, it kind of was, but also not, because obviously she kind of brought him back, but it's gonna take a while for him to heal. But then, oh my god, them just leaving and killing the zombies and having that dynamic that they always had, and then choo. And then Rick was so fine. When I tell you he was so fine, he had like that sweatshirt that was like baby blue in the backpack, and I think it was cargo pants. That silhouette is fucking crazy. That silhouette is crazy. He was like the perfect little hottie. And then his hair, like, just that black and white. Or gray, I guess. Not black and white. Gray. Black and white. Yeah, like the gray hair, slicked back, his perfect face, his pink lips. Oh, it was perfect. And then Michonne with her little jacket and the staff. Jesus fucking Christ. I would not want to be bisexual in this world. Because it's already hard that I think he's so fine. But obviously, you know, this is kind of weird to say in a way, but like I think it's still fine. Like when you think someone is fine, like you wish, like I mean, you could, I don't know, kiss them, I guess, or have something with them because he's so fine. Honestly, I would marry him. I don't care. I really don't. I would marry him. I really don't care. And in real life, he has an accent. His English, and I'm like, that's perfect for me. I love an accent. I love it. But yeah, and so if I was bisexual, I would not only have to deal with him, but Michonne too. That would be hard, girl. I mean, it was a crazy episode, but like I said, one of the best in television ever. It was so, but so good, so good. But yeah, okay. I think I'll end it there. Um, the review for this episode. We got 2 episodes left, and like every week, I do see the episode insider and the trailer for the next episode. But I don't give spoilers for the next episode. But I was a little confused again because I don't know. I didn't really understand the trailer. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think I said this last week too. Like I was confused about the trailer. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think I said this. Yeah, I think I said this last week too. But yeah, I guess we'll see. In a way, I'm kind of happy that I don't understand, because then the whole episode is basically a surprise. So, it's gonna be good. So a win for me, This is such an amazing show, and I'm so happy that I had this idea of doing a review. Obviously, I would love to react to it, but I also I love watching it on my own and then commenting on it. Because if I would react to it, I would just be pausing and talking, and that way I can watch the whole episode and then talk all about it. But yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're considering watching the show, please do. It's really good. If you didn't watch I have the other episodes. So 1, 2, 3, and this is gonna be 4. I also have reactions, covers, a little bit of gaming. So check out my channel. Leave a like on this video. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.